she has.
Yeah.
When you've earned it, it's very, it's well earned. But there's almost to a sense of it that makes it to where she loses that relatability, which is what I
Mhm.
identify with so much in her, is that she's a huge superstar, but she's not the typical Jennifer Lawrence, Goldie, or like the typical Hollywood starlet type.
Yeah. But what
So for
about her
me,
being? But what about? I just interject. What about her being rich now and successful, financially successful, makes her less relatable with the things you related to her on, other than the fact that she's not, one of us, quote
because
unquote.
to me, when I was reading it, I didn't get, you go, girl. I'm proud of you. You earned that. You deserve it. I got like
Oh,
boasty.
oh, I see.
Like, I could never go back to flying first class
But maybe she's. You mean first class? What's? Oh, because she says
because
private
she flies
now.
private.
Okay, yeah. I was like, whoa. Because to me, the pinnacle is first class. To her, it's flying her own plane on her own plane. Wow. Okay, go ahead.
There's just some of those things that I was like, "Ugh," and especially like coming off that
Cringeworthy.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't make me feel as connected to her. But then again, there were a lot of things that did. And, she definitely talked about sharing the wealth and,
Yes.
how the people on her TV show Inside Amy Schumer, the crew that had worked with her for so long over the years, they never got raises, but she did. So this last season, she gave a lot of her salary.
To
She, like,
them.
lowered her salary to give everybody else a higher salary. So, there
Wonderful.
were definitely a lot of things I could appreciate. But
But can I say
for me,
something about that? Go
yeah.
ahead. I just want to say I have this thing about me, and ooh, what the hell was that? I have this thing about me that actually identify with what you're saying about her to an extent because I grew up, not in a wealthy family or anything. And growing up, I always felt guilty anytime I would get more and more financially successful. And the more I got successful, and I wasn't because people were making me feel that way necessarily, but I felt that way. And it wasn't literally until probably this past year or past couple years that I got to the point where I realized, and this is through therapy and everything as well, by the way, I realized that I don't have to apologize for my success. I don't have to apologize for having
Yeah.
nice things, and I don't have to be ashamed of it. And I think there's a sense that people who do reach, I'm not saying I'm like rich like she is, but you know what I mean. I'm just saying I've reached my own personal success story. And so I think that when you've done that, I think people expect you to be, modest and whatever about it. And I don't
Yeah.
feel that you have to be. I don't.
Yeah, well, and especially when it's earned, you know.
And she's earned it. I think she's earned it. I think she's
Oh
earned
yeah,
it. But
definitely.
I think, yeah, I understand what you're saying though, because you're saying she's being like boasty about it. And she's being like, oh my god, I'm so rich now. I don't know what to do, whatever. But and I understand how that could be a turnoff. But I think that generally speaking, I think that she has absolutely earned it and what she's gone through. And it seems to me that book, from what you've setting to read it, obviously sounds like a success story book. Like she's made it from here to there. But you don't think
Oh
she's
yeah,
earned
it,
it?
it definitely is. And it's called The Girl with the Lower Back Tattoo. And
Yes.
essentially it all kind of leads up to she's made it in this male dominated industry where
Yes.
she didn't have the look, she didn't have the body, she literally just had the brains.
Right.
And she had everything going against her, including this trashy
Tattoo.
lower back tattoo. So, I can't appreciate the over. That's why I said it's a very good book, but there were just some parts of it that,
Made you cringe. Yeah.
given coming off the last season of the show and kind of the way the media's portrayed her lately, and then this in the book, I don't know. I'm keeping my eye on it.
I get it. No, I get totally what you're saying. I get it. I get it. And I agree with most of what you're saying. I just think that sometimes people, I think it's a two-way street, I guess. I think, you can't really win because
Yeah.
when you're broke, everybody's rooting you on. And then once you actually get to success, people are like, oh, look at her. Look at him. Who does he think
And if
he
you think
is?
about it too, that's she's always been a real chick. That's her being real, and
That's
I can
right.
appreciate that too.
Yes. Well, cool. Well, I need to read that book. I'm going to download it tonight then. Hopefully it's on, I'm sure it's on Apple iTunes anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Jason, tell us about why AT&T sucks.
Well, actually, hold on. Before I do that, I want to make a comment about the
Oh,
Amy
sure. I
Schumer
thought you weren't interested.
thing.
Go ahead.
No. I do like Amy Schumer, and I do like the fact that she's become successful because, like I said, she's not what you would see in a Hollywood quote unquote type woman, which is like thin
Yeah,
and
she's not the
you
typical
know,
ingenue or whatever.
right. But like like Christian was discussing, I was like, the only thing that really kind of gave me a little bit of side eye is that she flies private. I mean, which is fine, But because she said she did it.
Okay, you're
because of
like
her
breaking
success
up.
or
Can you sit
whatever.
up straight or something? I don't know, something about your phone. It's like breaking
Can
up.
you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. So yeah, so they're like, she said that she only flies private because of her, success and that type of thing. And I'm like, that gives me a little bit of side eye on
Why?
that particular part. Huh?
Why?
Well, because it's like there are people who are a little bit more well known in the industry and they fly
Coach? I mean,
coach and first class all the time. So it's like,
so that makes them better than her, and they're more
Well, I mean, it's
humble.
her own money. I mean, you can spend your money however you
This is
want.
what I'm talking about.
Hopefully.
This is what I'm talking about. I'm sorry to cut you off, but this is what I'm talking about. This is what irritates me. People are like, oh, so she's rich now, and she shouldn't use her money to fly private because bitch, if you had her money, you would be flying private. You know you would be.
well, I'm not
Which,
saying
by
that.
the way, tickets to her show
Yeah.
in the Dallas area to sit in the nosebleeds start at $150
No,
Okay.
ma'am.
to see
No.
somebody stand on stage with a mic.
Wow.
So,
Well, if she can get it, she can get
if
it.
she can sell it, I mean, I'm not surprised she's flying private.
That's what I'm saying.
But yes, and to literally have an orchestra seat in the theater, $250.
That's
No,
not
ma'am.
that
See
bad.
her with
is
a
it?
mic.
I don't know. I'd probably pay
No,
that.
ma'am. No, ma'am.
But Jason, do you see what I'm
I
saying?
don't even think Beyonce tickets cost that much.
But do you see what she's not a singer though. She's a comedian and an actress. It's not the same thing. And she shouldn't compete. I'll be put on the same level with Beyonce anyway, but I'm just saying.
I mean, she can do what she wants with her money, but I don't know. I guess the way it was coming off, it was like kind of like condescending, as if like, oh, I'll never do that again, or like, I don't know. I that's the way I took it, but like I said, I could be wrong.
Well, see, this is what happened when I just bought a new car and people are like, looking at me like that, and I don't like that. I think it's wrong.
It's not like you bought a Porsche or like a. This is my kind of thing when it comes to money.
That's
And
100.
kind of looking at people with money.
Yeah.
If your bills are paid
Uh-huh.
and you're not killing lions.
Yeah, but what if I wait?
And-
But what if I had bought a Porsche? What's the difference? I don't understand what the difference is.
Well, no. I'm saying like if people are giving you shade or saying like, oh, must be nice, kind of thing. To me, like, if the only reason I would feel like side eye to somebody, maybe it's because I don't give a fuck about cars, but like if you had a platinum Tesla or like a diamond Rolls Royce,
But
that's
that
what I'd
cost
be like.
that Tesla costs
you
just
know-
as much as my car, though. That's my point. I'm not kidding you. So
I
that
don't know anything about cars.
But I mean,
That's what I'm
I
saying.
think I understand. Well, I think I kind of know where this is going because I was like, I mean, you have the money. If you want to buy a Tesla, you want to buy a BMW, you want to buy a Porsche, you can buy whatever you want to. But I think the reason, well, in my mind at least, the reason why I think people are just like, oh, that must be nice, or everyone's not able, or anything like that. Because I ain't gonna lie to you, I can't afford a BMW, not the one you bought. I can't afford that. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
But you're not supposed to be. You're not. You're at a different station in your life. You're not supposed to compete with other people anyway. You should just look at yourself and say.
But no, I think the reason why some people kind of like give people side eye when they purchase an expensive vehicle, or just give them kind of like that whole like like child, that type of thing. I feel like it's because some people who drive those type of vehicles, or not even say drive those type of vehicles, who own those type of vehicles, or are like in that stage of your life where you can afford, a car that costs more than 50 grand.
Yes.
I feel like, according to what I've seen, it's like people come off as better than for people who can't afford that type of stuff. So I think,
But that's a case by case thing, though.
But how do they come
Well,
off?
no.
Wait. You need to just specifically tell me, like, is it just by the act of buying a $100,000 car versus buying a $50,000 car?
No.
Or
think,
is it what is it they're doing?
This is just my way of thinking, and I could be wrong, combined with what I've seen.
Yes.
But I feel like first of all, if you can afford that type of vehicle, that's great. I personally cannot afford that, but my bank account is a lot different than someone who can. But I think is that I think people look at people who drive those type of vehicles. They look at them as they're supposed to be entitled because they have that type of vehicle. Like,
But that's not
'cause
their.
I
That's not
think a
their
lot of people look at
fault.
him like, oh, he's driving $100,000 car, so he thinks he can park here, or he thinks he can drive this
But
kind of
that's
way, or
that
he thinks
person's
he can.
issue. It's not me. It's that person driving. It's that person's issue. Do you
But
understand
no, I
what
mean
I'm
no,
saying?
that's been a thing that's been going on for years. People always think like that because I hear people
Not
always say like,
everybody thinks
oh,
like
if I
that,
was driving
Jason.
this type of vehicle, you would have never pulled me over, or if I was driving this type of vehicle, I
What?
never would. This would have happened,
Oh
or
my
I
god.
mean, you hear it all the time.
This is my point. This is my whole point of making this discussion tonight. Is like this is this bullshit I've heard all my life about stuff about people who have any kind of money at all or buy $100,000 car. Like, why would you spend $100,000 car? That's a house or whatever. Well, yeah, but if you have a house already and you can,
Right.
what's
And again, it's earned. Like if you're not, your bills are paid,
right?
everything's taken care of, and you're gonna post it on Facebook, and nobody you owe $100 on Facebook is gonna see it.
That's right. Exactly.
Then who
But
cares?
that's what I'm saying. I don't understand. I even when I was younger, I never begrudged people who had bought, nice things or whatever. I didn't look at people who were truly wealthy. No, I'm not truly wealthy, but people who were truly wealthy, and look at them and think, "Ew, look at her. She thinks she's so fancy because she has nice cars, nice clothes." Da, da, da. I always looked at them as something to aspire to have because I like those
Right.
things. Not everybody cares about those things, but I do. And it's not like I think that people who have those things is better than someone who does not. The difference is that people who have those things, who've worked for them, like myself, and have worked very long and came from no money, for me, it's an accomplishment and a milestone. And so
Right.
that's how I see
But
it.
no, but no. What I'm saying is, but that's fine. Not every person's going to be like that. But I have personally seen people who go out and treat people a different way because,
It's
oh,
people.
I'm driving this $120,000 car. Meanwhile, while you're rolling around in this $20,000 car, so it's like I have personally experienced it where they'd be like,
Christian,
do you know who I am? I'm like, it's like, okay, so what, you drive this Hunter? I'm like, that doesn't make you better than me.
but
But
you're
I think that it comes from that type of attitude because I feel like that whole stigma or thing is that people who tend to drive those type of vehicles
uh-huh.
think that they're better than the next person. I think that's how that
Well, then
all
you're. I
started.
think Christian just said this under his breath, but I can't remember. But I'm not sure. But did you? I think you're hanging around the wrong kind of people because honestly, I think if this is the kind of people you hang around, I don't know why you would want to hang around them in the first place. If they're that shallow, superficial, and that petty, then I don't know why you hang around them in the
No,
first
not
place.
me. I mean, like I said,
You
not
said
me
these people you
personally, but it's
know. People you know, I mean. I'm like, really? I mean, I just think people need to stop being so worried and concerned about what other people are doing and just say, that's a nice car. Good for you, period. Let it go. Bye-bye. That's all you got to say. You know what I mean? Not
I mean,
you.
honestly, I don't even put much thought into it. I was like, you can afford it,
Not
I
you. I'm
can't.
not talking about you. I'm talking about the people you're hanging around and the people you say they're saying these things and thinking that way. I just find it to be offensive. So as offensive as they find it for someone to drive a nice car and be able to afford it and actually drive around, oh my God, what gall they have. For them to be able to do that, I think it's just as much gall to say to someone, oh, well, who do you think you are? Do you give to charity? Do you do this? Fuck you. It's none of your
But
fucking
no, but no,
business.
but I do feel like there is a very small percentage of
I
people
agree with you. Yes, of course there are people. I'm not
who
saying they don't exist. I'm just saying that
do
why.
entitled when they buy these type of vehicles.
Yes, they exist. But I'm saying generally, I'm saying, like, that's what I'm saying. Final bottom line. If you run into someone like that, who's like a prick or whatever, and if you're talking about Porsches, for example, a lot of pricks drive Porsches. You could say that too, and I'm not driving a Porsche, but people who do. And or BMWs or Mercedes or whatever, or Rolls Royce, whatever the fuck it is, and whatever it costs, and they think that they are just, the cat's meow because they have this car, and that therefore they get their entire ego boost from that car or that Rolex or that what they're wearing or whatever, and they use things to make themselves feel better about themselves and their external power or whatever, as Oprah used to say, instead of internal power. And so if those are the people you're talking about, yes, of course they exist. But I'm saying that you shouldn't paint everyone with the same brush just because some